Welcome back. We'll start this demo off by doing a Hello World program, which is easy enough in SAS. First, we create a data segment. The data segment also has a name. We named it message in this. It could be anything from like named or string or anything. It doesn't matter. Then we need to create a variable to display. This variable we named message, although it does not matter. And again, we add hello world to that variable. Then we need a proc print statement, which prints the data segment, generally referred, but in this case it's in the data segment, so it will print out the data segment. And then run to execute the data segment all the way through. So once we run this, we'll get one observation of a message that says hello world. So now we need to do a program to see the differences between SAS and C++. We chose to do bubble sort as our median program. So first I'm going to show you bubble sort in C++. Bubble sort in C++ is done by taking an array and then sending it to two separate functions. The first function is the print function, which essentially just prints out the array. The second function is the bubble sort function, which takes the criteria of the element looked at. If it's greater than the element after that, it will swap, and it will keep checking through the array several times until it does not find anything in this criteria. After it's completely sorted, it will then print out the array again, but in sorted order. You can see this done once you debug and start without debugging. You'll see that in the initial array, the array of numbers originally presented, and then the final array after sorting. Pretty easy enough, but in SAS it gets a little bit more complicated, although it does the same thing. First we start off with the data segment. The data segment is unsorted, or we named it unsorted. Then we start with the input, which represents the number of rows. In this case, we have 10 data points, so we'll have 10 rows. This went from x1 to x10, although these could be named anything, from y1 to y10 to just 1 to 10 to anything. Data lines represents the data in the data segment, and then run, which will run the current data segment. Proc print then takes the data entered here and presents that to the results window. The data unsorted will be titled unsorted, and then the run statement will execute the proc print statement, then printing out the unsorted array. Then we have the data segment for the sorted portion, which is going to sort the array for us. Then we're going to start by creating the array, setting the unsorted data into that array. These still represent the same number of rows, and this represents the name with an undefined number of rows. Next we have a do until, which is going to do until it finds no more swapping possible. Then we're going to set the swapping variable equal to 1 or is true. And then we're going to start from the beginning and move our way to the end of the array. Dim function represents the dimensions of the array. In this case, 10 dimensions. Finally, we need to check to see if the current array point looked at is greater than the next array point up. If so, swap them. In each one of these do's, we'll have an end. Finally, we'll have a run statement, which will execute the entire data sorted. And then finally, a proc print statement, adding the sorted as the data, titling it sorted, and then running so that it prints all these to the results screen. We're then going to go ahead and run this, and you'll see that we come out with one observation where x1 through x10 is unsorted, titled unsorted. Then the same thing, sorted, observation 1, x1 through x10, but this time they're sorted, 2, 3, and so on to 65. So at first glance, you can tell that there are several differences between SAS programs and C++ programs. Some notable differences in syntax. SAS uses its data segments in order to create and manipulate the data. You could think of this as the main function. Both C++ and SAS focus on the execution efficiency and freedom for the programmer. Unlike C++, you don't need to worry about memory, as observations are created in a memory only after the run step and is released when the step is complete. C++ has a smaller library than SAS, and SAS has an extremely diverse file system. Almost any file can be used as an input and output in SAS, unlike C++. That is, without third-party libraries, of course. But it's hard to compare SAS to C++, as SAS is more for statistical analysis, unlike C++. SAS provides a unique and powerful statistical tool for analyzing data and is used for so many industries. It's also considered to be the more complicated language to learn compared to R and Excel. Although it should be noted that SAS has the highest market share for advanced analytics and the 5th highest in business intelligence. There are a few people and groups I would like to thank and give mention to for this video. SAS Institute, SAS Wikipedia, HackerRank for the bubble sort program for C++, and SAS Institute again for the bubble sort program in SAS. Links for this video will be posted below. Finally, if there are any questions or comments, post on the normal discussion board for this class or post below. Thank you for watching, and I hope this has helped you learn about SAS.